Every year, millions of people in developing countries are unable to have surgeries that they require to treat common medical conditions because they don't have the money. A new website is trying to change that by giving anyone, anywhere, the ability to fund a medical treatment for someone else who's in need. And to tell us more about her website, Samahope, we are joined via Skype from San Francisco by founder and CEO Leila Janah. Good morning.
Good morning. It's so great to be on.
Leila, tell us about the concept. Where did it come from? And did people think you were crazy trying to find donors for individuals around the world?
A little bit. I was in Africa last year for the nonprofit that I run called Samasource, which does something entirely different. We connect people living in poverty to work over the internet. I was in Sierra Leone and stumbled into a huge humanitarian problem, which is that 1 in 8 women in that country die in childbirth. And it's just unfathomable to me that we live on a planet where that kind of maternal mortality persists. And I started thinking about ways that technology could do something to fix that. So it was a problem unrelated to my day job, but it was something that I just couldn't ignore. I met a doctor there who was giving these surgeries out in a clinic in the northern part of the country, and he didn't have a lot of funding. He was raising all of the money to perform these surgeries as a volunteer and doing it himself. And I thought surgeons should be giving surgeries, and people like me can help them raise money. Mm-hmm. So that was the original idea behind the site.
Speak to me more about the childbirths. What are the common problems there that lead to fatalities?
Well, the biggest problem is that people don't have the money, and there's no public infrastructure to give birth in hospitals. So you have a lot of women who are malnourished who are not giving birth when they're old enough, and their pelvises aren't wide enough to have a safe birth anyway. And then on top of that, to complicate matters, they often give birth in villages, at home, and without the supervision of birth attendants who are trained. And so as a result, many of them develop really serious complications that in the West would be treated rather simply at a hospital. But in a country like Sierra Leone with no infrastructure, these conditions tend to fester and get worse and worse. Some of the patients... Mm-hmm.
Well, so when you put this on the website, when this is made available for people to read, to see, to hear these stories, how do they react? Were you surprised by how many people came forward?
I was, and we've had an outpouring of support across the web, and here in Silicon Valley, people are just really happy that technology is being used, not just to build another iPhone app, but also to solve this pressing global problem. On the flip side, we have had some critiques. Some people are not comfortable with sharing these intimate stories on the internet. Some people have said the site violates the privacy of the women we feature. We make a commitment to every woman and child who's on the site that their is going to be public, and make sure that they're okay with that.
You know, it seems to reinforce once again that old saying, 1 million casualties is just a statistic. 1 casualty is a human tragedy. So that seems to be the way people, I mean, if you make it personal enough, people will react. Give us one story. Give us one specific story about somebody who needed help.
Sure. Well, there's a woman named Fatmata. I don't know if you have the photo. I think we sent it over. And she's 19 years old.
Yes, we do. We have the photo.
Oh, great. She's the one shown in pink. She is 19 years old, so quite young, and from the Mende tribe in a district in the northern part of the country. And she suffered from a vaginal fistula, which is a complication that occurs when a woman is having prolonged childbirth. In her case, she was in labor for 4 days, no painkillers. She lost the child, and then to make matters worse, at the end of it, she had a fistula, which is basically a tear in the birth canal between the urethra or the rectum. And so what that means is that these women are constantly dripping either urine or feces, and it makes their day-to-day life just impossible. They lose their jobs, they often lose their husbands, they become completely disconnected and marginalized from their communities. And in her case, she heard about our organization, our local clinic on the ground, the West Africa Fistula Foundation, which is a Samahope partner, through a local midwife in her village, and she came there for treatment. And one of the things that happened to Fatmata, as happens with so many women, is she found a community of support once she got to this clinic. And I think it's a big part of the site is just spreading awareness of these conditions so that these women don't feel so alone, so that they feel like there's a community of support, not just in Sierra Leone, but also around the world to help them get their surgeries.
I understand you have another story you can share with us. I don't know how to pronounce the name. Is it Wuya?
Yes, that's correct.
What's her story?
So Wuya had a business to support her family. She has 3 children, Shaku, Maria, and Yamba. And she used to go to the surrounding villages to buy goods, which she would then resell in Freetown, the capital. And she would sell palm oil and vegetables. And this is the sort of thing that she is prevented from, doing if she doesn't have a fistula surgery. So Wuya is another of the many beneficiaries on the site.
Well, this is fantastic work you're doing. The site is Samahope. What is the website, quickly?
Sama means equal in Sanskrit, and it's S-A-M-A Hope, samahope.org.
Okay, Leila, good on you, and good luck with this. Nice of you to speak with us today.
Thanks so much. My pleasure.